Well, good evening. You're very welcome to the Masters Championship round number 5 of Division 2 here at the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. My name is Graham, and joining me tonight is Joe the Egg Core Boy. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Hi, Graham.
I
Yeah,
ran out
yeah.
of ideas, so I just had to
Drop,
go for the
drop
obvious
an
one.
egg. I know, I
Um,
remember.
no worries. Elephant in the room, let's just get out of the way right now. It is raining, so it is a frantic race basically to get across the line as quickly as possible on a flying lap. SH has got the ball rolling with a 19.8 here on softs. Track is going to get worse and worse and worse, so it's going to be very, very quick,
Yeah.
Joe. We can go through standings and stuff later, but it's just trying to get these guys basically on the board before the rain comes and basically means the session is basically completely pointless.
Yeah. Um. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. The rain is hitting hard. I can see it. The times will be fairly high, I think. This is rain.
You're kind of seeing it already, aren't you? Like it is fairly.
Yeah.
Um,
Like nearly high 23s on mediums.
See if you could pick like everyone I see here I see on their slow like on their in lap, like no one's using ERS who's kind of set a lap, so it's kind of all gone by very, very quickly. And I'm afraid it looks like Team T Wesker has been caught out here. He's last. He's not set a time, and this track, Joe, can only be getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So it
Not
means
spray up tires, so.
for Wesker's best race of the season, he's going to be starting last.
Unfortunately, I think everyone might retire now soon. Only like 5 minutes into 5 minutes into qualifying. I said I'll have to retire soon. On my ear.
SH in the pits, Team T's Latan in the pits.
That's
They're all.
three wide going into coming into the last sector. Three
Oh
wide.
yeah, I'm looking at this from the view of Tom Pretty. Do you know, I don't think any of these guys are on a lap. It's all just get into the pits. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. I guess qualifying.
That's qualifying over.
Maybe that would be a good time, Joe, to take us through the standings while everyone just kind of files into the pits.
Kerosene Kev tied top with Dan Morris with 48 points. SH in third with 27 points. Wesker in fourth with 22 points. Fourth in fifth with 21 points, and Timo in 6th, 7th with 20 points. My ears are blown over. Constructors, McLaren with 59 points, Mercedes with 51 points, Ferrari with 39 points, and Williams with 37 points. That's constructors.
So there's your standings. Why are your ears being blown out, by the way? I'm curious.
There's a horn beeping out on the game, man. It's quite annoying. Dan Mart's going on to intermediates. Like, is he mad?
I mean, unless you just want to get some laps out there. I mean, the best thing that everyone could do is just retire. Apart from Wesker, like I guess Wesker has a legit, he hasn't set a lap time. That's it. But I mean, really, we should to save us the pain of 11 minutes. We should just see everyone retire. And there's actually a couple of guys coming back out there on interest. They're going to go for it. They're going to get some laps in, which is, again, I think it's a completely redundant exercise, other than just doing laps for the sake of doing laps. Again, it makes sense for Wesker, but I don't think he's actually going to even improve to even beat 10k in 17th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is just a completely pointless exercise. Like, shout out to Synchronizer who sees that for what it is, and did it. Thank you, my old teammate. I appreciate you. Meanwhile, I guess it gives us something to watch out and track, but again, it's completely redundant. So, yeah.
I'll just sit here and just enjoy the rain.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, DRS has been disabled, so that already happened. But yeah, it is just 10 minutes of complete nothing. Yarm's actually wandered out on mediums rather, which is interesting.
Yeah, but the track is just so wet. Like
the track is wet, and like DRS has already been disabled, so Unless the
He's
rain's
finding
going
it
to
hard.
stop and it's going to dry up again, but I don't see it happening, if I'm honest.
No. I don't know. Nonsense.
So I guess we'll go on board Wesker, you know, starting his lap.
That man, Mark, man.
Over he goes. He's got McLaren behind him.
The Norse.
As he hiles into turn one again. Yeah, I mean, what time Wesker will actually say here? I mean, in terms I don't know, but yeah, like, because all the build up to this was Wesker. You know, it's his. Like, you know, this is one of his best tracks. He should have won here last year. It didn't happen. He bottled it right at the end. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, it was all building up to this for a good result, and now he's got to start from the back, and it's gonna be fun to see, but he's gonna be so mad.
He probably wasn't even expecting it either. Like, that's the thing.
Like, I don't know what he did in the first lap, because like he was the only one not to set a time when everyone else had. So he obviously messed up somewhere and validated somewhere. But it's like the worst thing he could have done.
25-6.
Which would put him last anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know if he abandoned the lap after he invalidated whoever it was, but
yeah, he invalidated that one as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it could have been something decent, but didn't get the job done. Where's Dan Morris? You can just follow this. What kind of lap times they're doing? They're like nearly 7 seconds slower than what they were doing. As Dan pulls into the pits, and more people are retiring, and I hope this is a sign of things to come, and we can just get on with it.
At least Wesker gets a time on the board, anyways. Or not?
No, he didn't. Did he really invalidate?
That noise is so annoying. Why did it add that noise into the game?
I don't know what you're
like
hearing.
A horn. It's like a horn beeping, like.
I don't hear it.
Right in my ear.
I don't hear it.
That's
Anyways, more people are retiring. Again, let's just get the show on the road, because there's nothing left to be gained for the next 7.5 minutes. If the race was wet, I can understand, but I believe it's dry. So do you know the way
the bike? Oh, never mind.
What?
I was gonna say. No, stupid question.
Go on, ask it.
No, I was looking at the boards. It said fitted. I thought, don't know where Marcus on a lap there now. I thought he set his lap on the inters.
No, it is not the case.
I thought he'd get choose what tire he wants.
No, he won't. He's in 10th place.
Yeah.
So he's on mediums, locked into that for the race. We're waiting on 2, 3, 4, 5 people to retire, including both Williams, both McLarens, and then the Toro Rosso of Burt. As soon as that happens,
interesting.
This is better.
Sway is only 1,000 off Mark's day was. I was unlucky.
Yeah, good spot. For 10th place, that would have actually mattered so much. You know, at some other race where the mediums are, you know, because everyone's going for the mediums pretty much. There's a few people on softs, but that would have mattered a lot. But not so much here.
And the same with Tom Pretty and Synchronizer as well, 1,000 as well.
And that's for P6.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, John, fourth, third card. Bring it home.
P0, come on, bring it home. Because my life is wasting away looking at this.
Yeah, I'm just contemplating life right now. It's like, just come on and just end it. Come on. We've a race. We've 33 laps here. Get going.
33 laps, and these last, what, how many minutes? Yeah, just well, so it's minute 11 basically, right?
Yeah, 12. 13 maybe. Yeah, oh no.
So Merck peels in finally, and we have just one driver to wait on, and we can just skip this last 5 minutes, and we can just get on with it. There we go. Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Right, so we've got SH on softs. It'll be interesting how that works out. In first, Team Z's Zlatan getting the job done. In second, Bert third, Dan Morris fourth, Adibaba fifth, Tom Priddy sixth, Synchronizer seventh, Mark Demand in eighth, Yaram in ninth on softs, and then Merck rounds out the top 10 on the mediums, and he's followed in by Sway, Focky, Weiberg, Jono, Captain Chubbs, Team Z Racy, 10k to Wesker then rounds out the grid. So looking at that, Joe,
Yes.
there's a lot of people out of position.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's just a jumbled up grid, so it is. Ah, sure. Lovely old, beautiful day here in Barcelona.
Yeah, the sun is a shining, and no threat of rain then you'd imagine. So
Yeah.
strategy then is going to be, 90% of people are going to be on the mediums, with a few exceptions. Do you expect anyone to go on the hards?
Maybe if you're,
10?
maybe if you're near the back, maybe.
So if you're
Or
Wesker,
other
for
than that,
example,
yeah, Wesker. Or who was say him?
I think Chubbs is back there. I know Timo's
Yeah,
back there.
hards then. But if you want to get aggressive and you're like 11th or 12th, I'd nearly go softs for the crack.
For the crack.
But a two-stop, like, just something different, like.
Right, formation
Um,
lap we can see what is what. Okay then. So no one going for the softs outside the top 10. We have Sway, Focky, Chubbs, Timo and 10k on the mediums. Weiberg, Jono and Wesker go on the hards. Makes sense for Wesker. Go long, see what he can do. We've seen Weiberg go long quite often, and it's worked out fairly well at times. Jono then, two McLarens then splitting the strategy. The person who's in the worst position here is probably Yarm in ninth
oh
on
yes,
softs.
yeah,
At least SH is on pole. I mean, you know, he might not be on the optimal strategy, but at least he's got the track position, at least to start. Yaram does not have that.
no. I finally have game sound.
So congratulations, horns are no longer blowing in your ear. I'm very happy for you.
Thanks. So, who do you think? Who's your bet?
Dan Morris here in fourth is looking pretty nice, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think it can be it can be difficult to overtake at Spain, but I think he's positioned brilliantly, and with Kerosene Kev not being here today, you know, good chance
Yeah,
for him, and he
it
needs
is
every
good
bit he
chance
can
for
get
both of us.
because he's going to be missing the next 3 or so races at the very least.
Yeah.
He's away on the holidays, so every bit of advantage he can get heading into that, you know, is less work
Yeah.
he has to do to try and make some of it back up when he returns. But there's a lot to happen between now and then. 33 laps.
Turn one. Be careful. Don't kill everyone.
I believe it's the longest run down to turn one of the season, so SH will be fine in the sense that he's got softs, he can initially help him with that launch. I'd be amazed if he was leapfrogged. But we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be good, hopefully. Car's out of position. You keep an eye on the back for me, Joe.
I watched the back 10.
It'll be chaos, I'm sure.
8.
Right then, 33 laps around Spain. Set to get underway. Here we go then. 5 red lights. And away we go. That looks like a good start for TMZ's Latam, but the softs come back to SH's advantage. Damar's already up to third place ahead of Adi Baba. He should be able to secure his way into turn one as they sweep through. SH lead the way. A little bit of contact between Damars and Adi Baba, nothing too much though, as Burst trying to get back some of the places he's lost. He's got Tom Pritty on his inside, has to go wide. Adi Baba goes wide as well. And a couple of other cars going up, but they all seem to have made it safely, at least heading down towards
Oh,
turn 4
Chubbs
for
is on
now.
the gravel.
And sometimes the 10k as well. Oh, there's a big contact. There's a Haas. I think it's Focky who's got wing damage. It is. And so not the best start then for Haas, as a couple of guys. Tom Pritchie's got by Burt. Jono looks like he's made up some ground as well. He's side by side with Yaram. He's got by Yaram as well, and he moves up into 10th. Sorry, he's got by Jono, I should say, as Yaram is up into 10th place then, as they head down towards turn 10 for the first time. SH needs to get a run away. I saw that bollard absolutely fly across, as you got Wesker. Two racing points. Timo and Sway, not the best start for Racing Point, but Wesker off to a good start. Already up to 13th place on the hards, Joe. Good start for him.
Yeah, it's a good start. Right there. And God,
yeah, sector 3. And Sway is off in the Racing Point, as Tom Pritchie lines up Adi Baba. This is for P4, not P5. He tries to go down the inside, but just can't get the move done this time, as Wesker is under attack from, there's Focky, there's Weiberg. John not too far off the road either. As Sway comes into the pits then. Timo and Weiberg, we know Weiberg's got a bit of damage. Oh, Timo almost misjudged that one. Just about managed to avoid contact though. They are going to be side by side heading down towards turn 5. Around the outside, Timo hangs out and gets that move done. Good stuff, but Weiberg's still right there side by side as they sweep it to turn 7 and 8. With a wiggle for Weiberg, and Timo completes that move.
So SH has pulled out a 2.2 second gap on TMC Zlatan and more slow to caption. So is Alibaba. So them softs will probably die out around that 5-6 maybe.
So he needs to run away as much as he can. SH on the softs, he's done it decent enough so far, but he's going to need more than that, because it's going to be a two-stop strategy regardless basically at this point with the softs, as Focky then comes into the pits, presumably to replace that wing. Timing screens are having an absolute mare.
Well, he's on the softs, so maybe he's trying to stretch out what the hards, and then he should be alright. Maybe.
Yeah, interesting one from Sway there. Yeah, for sure. Focky's got decided to go for mediums, so it's a two-stop regardless at this stage. You pit early at this stage, it's a two-stop regardless. So you can see the thinking from both sides, as Burt now looking to try and hunt down Tom Pritchie. Was attacking Ali Baba a few laps ago, but now looking a bit more defensive than he is on the offensive, and of course now DRS is enabled on lap 3. But they just can't seem to get close enough heading down to this turn 10 braking zone. Majority of the work's going to have to happen. Oh, there's a snap oversteer for Merck, and he's round. Merck is round just after turn 10. Has to wait for the field to kind of file through. That's a disaster for Merck. Just saw the back end snap away there, as Synchronizer tried to defend from Yaram for 8th place. SH continuing to set the pace at the front, now has a 3.3 second lead. He's doing what he has to do for the time being before he moves on to what I presume will be a set of mediums, as Yaram trying to sneak closer and closer to Synchronizer. Hasn't gone defensive, but Yaram's going to run out of track to try and make that move, and still has to sit behind Synchronizer. This is not great for Yaram, because he's not moved basically from his starting grid basically. On the soft, he would have liked to have thought he would make a bit more time up than he has, but not looking great for Yaram at the moment. But of course it's a long old race.
No. Let's go up to P12.
P11 even.
What? 12.
P11. 10k isn't actually in the top 10.
P12?
He's P11, Joe.
Is 11th.
No, he's not. I can assure you. It's
I'm looking at it right now.
So am I. I'm looking at Wesker chase down Jono, and 10k is coming down the straight towards turn 10. So they've been flip-flopping all race, but...
You must be desync to him.
No, it must be you.
No, I'm looking right at
As Jono is getting close to the back of Yarm, whose tyres are beginning to go off. He's lost a bit of touch of synchronizer now, opens a DRS. I don't think it's going to be enough to save him, though. As he pulls over to the right-hand side. Jono trying to make up some ground on the hards as well. He goes down the inside on Yarm, gets that move done. Yarm will try to switch back as the outside for 2 becomes the inside for turn 3. And manages to take back that position. John will have to try around down the inside. Later braking for turn 4. He's left the space, but Yarm's got the optimal line. And Yarm's going to be able to keep that position for the time being, unless John can force him around the outside. Yarm covers it off. And that's good defensive driving from Yarm in the grand scheme of things there. As at the front, Dan Morris is just getting in that DRS range of Team Zlatan, who's now 4.3 seconds behind SH. So I wonder if SH be thinking about maybe pitting once maybe Dan Morris is able to find a way back past that that Red Bull. I was at Toro Rosso, as Chubbs is got by Weiberg, and that's for P13 in the Mercedes. So Chubbs making up some ground on the mediums, gets himself into P13. He's got Timo in front of him, same tyres.
Yeah, 10k is 12. Westwood 11.
No, because he keeps jumping up to first on my screen and then jumps back down. So.
Bad host. Yeah, I'm going to go around the outside of synchronizer.
He's got Jono behind him as well. So the softs then not falling away as much as I thought they would by this stage, but given there are 2 or so laps, and it's not going to be the most fantastic tire to be on. As closer to the front, Dan Morris is all over the back of that Red Bull now. We have enough juice heading down this back straight with the DRS as well to make a move. He's going a bit too far away this time, you'd imagine, but heading down towards turn 1, you'd imagine his chance will be waiting for him there. As Seacrest goes a little bit wide. Go back to the McLaren though. Go back with Dan Morris. See, Team Zlatan gets a decent run, to be fair, that last corner, but will that be enough to save him without the benefit of DRS? That McLaren is reeling in that Honda-powered Red Bull, and he pulls over to the right-hand side. Down the inside he goes. Can he keep this move? Yes, he can. Covers across and prevents any kind of reply from Adam, and Dan Morris then can set off after the race leader as Yaram and Synchronizer dueling again, and this time Yaram has got by the Haas and he moves up into P9.
Yeah, there's a good gaggle of cards there from P14, maybe P15 to P8. So it's those working best ways. Merkins goes up as well.
A bunch of split strategies. Well, you got Yarm on softs, guys on the mediums, and then John and Wesker then on the hards then as well. And they're actually they're all bunching up, aren't they, up the front here? Yeah. Basically, you spotted it as well between like Dan, Team Zlatan, Adi Baba, Tom Pretty, Bert. You know, they're very, very close to each other. They're all being in the DRS train though, so that's not going to help. A bit of front wing's gone flying. Is that Chubbs' front wing or is it Timo's? I think it is Chubbs on the right hand side. That wing looks to be damaged, and so Chubbs was making good ground, but unfortunately has clouted to the side of that racing point, and now his progress is surely disrupted as Bert reeling in Tom Pretty with DRS. Can he get enough overspeed to make the move? No, not quite, and that's the benefit that being in this DRS train has, is that you are kind of safe from one another. But wiggle on the rear end for Tom Pretty. Bert gets closer and closer, but he can't quite find a way through. And that would be for P5.
I think SH is going to pit soon.
He's got to, hasn't he? But he hasn't lost too much time so far. He's still around just under 5 seconds ahead of Dan Morris. And if that begins to start, if that starts to close, then you probably imagine maybe SH should then dive in. But what will he do then? Should he go for the? Should he go for the mediums? You'd imagine. It's interesting what he decides to do first. As Focky gets by 10k then.
Yarham's losing time, a lot of time behind Northern in general.
Yeah, his tyres don't look great, and he's going to peel in. So it's going to be interesting to see with these guys in the two-stop. Do they do the hard stint first, or do they do the mediums and then, you know, safety car shenanigans? See what happens after that. That's John's
so hards.
So he's going to try to get that stint out of the way then.
Unless it goes soft at the end of the last stint.
Be an interesting one if he did. He's got to carry these hards a long way though. As Wesker and Jono on the back of Synchronizer. Still on the medium tyre, and these hards won't have switched over to their advantage quite yet. But you'd imagine it won't be too long before they do. And speaking of switching, I believe SH is losing a bit more time now, 4.5 ahead of Dan, who's taking a couple tenths off. And I think you'll see SH in pretty soon before he loses too much time. He's lost a good bit of time this lap alone. Jono again gets close to Synchronizer, but not quite close enough to make a move down towards turn 10. Difficult place to make an overtake as SH is going to carry on. So he's losing time, but he's going to try and soldier on regardless, as surely Synchronizer is going to be sitting duck here for one, if not two drivers heading down towards turn 1. Has he got any defense for any of these guys? Because Jono's going to file through, and Wesker just lost a bit of ground then on that last turn, and his chance to try and have a crack at Synchronizer isn't going to come into turn 1. Jono does get by though, and Jono making really good progress on these hards then. He's got 4.4 to Mark the Man, who's had a very quiet race so far. As Mark the Man, he's kind of slotted in there, hasn't he, into 8th place, sorry, 7th place. But now that Jono's passed, I wonder if time will start coming down, as a bit of contact side by side, Wesker and Synchronizer. Wesker trying to bully his way through, and he's going to get through, but I can't imagine Synchronizer will be too happy about that. Definitely some contact there, and Wesker then sneaks through to get into P9 then. Timo looking to follow as well, but again this straight's a little bit too short, and he'll have to try and have a look down towards turn 1. A big key here at the front here is that, as SH pits, that Adam actually hasn't dropped out of DRS range of Dan, and that's actually saving him at the moment, because without it, I'm pretty sure Alibaba would be gone, Tom Pretty, Burt, you know, these guys all be going. And speaking of Burt, he's going to go try down the inside this time, and Tom Pretty's finally got the run he wants down the inside. Tom Pretty left the inside in for turn 2, but Burt manages to find a way through for turn 3, and unless there's another apply here from Tom Pretty, he's lost that place, and that's a Burt then up into P4. Where did SH come out then? SH is in nice clear air then, and he's on the hards.
Synchronizer pitted as well. He was on medium, wasn't he?
He was. He may have had damage, I'm not too sure. To be fair, he just comes out in front of his teammate. To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if he was really struggling, because he definitely looked like he was struggling on those tyres. Maybe Sai just had to get them off. And we go along into this race and see what the story is, but again, they're very close at the front. Now, fair play to Adam though. I would have thought Dan might have dropped him out of DRS, but he hasn't, and certainly keeping that Red Bull in a good position, because again, like I said, without DRS, I think he certainly would have been overtaken by now. But even still, Alibaba is quite close. He just gets a really good run though after that last corner, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And it helps every time, because now, even though Alibaba's got DRS and he's in overtake mode, he got lots of ERS. If anything, Adam actually he got very close to Dan on this main straight. And I know Dan was just in He wasn't actually harvesting any. He's actually in no deployment. He wasn't deploying any energy down that straight, but just that last turn, Adam gets enough of an exit, and he just pulls that a little bit. That was 2 tenths or so. That means that no one can really get close enough heading down towards turn 1 as Merck comes into the pits then. So Hards.
Was it a front wing change?
I didn't look like I had a crappy camera angle for it. So I was looking at the back of the car, but didn't look like a wing change, and he emerges close to the back basically.
Adi Baba is close enough to Adam as well. His pace looking good today.
Yeah, it is. Like, I mean, look at the pace between the top 5 here is, really, really solid. And you imagine John will be right amongst that as well, if he was on the same tyres. But the question then is, who blinks first then out of these guys? Who makes the undercut? Who triggers it basically is the question. And Bert's going to do it.
Bert.
So Bert's going to come in then and trigger the undercut. The rest of them stay out, so it's going to be really interesting then. Because the person who's got the most to lose is definitely Adam, I'd say. He's got the most to lose. But Bert then, worth again as Jono goes quickest and on all hards. So lap 12 of those hards is getting into a nice little sweet spot. And SH then quickly gets rid of that. The fastest lap of his own. Then Bert then emerges from the pits. Where will he be as a wing change for Captain Chubbs? So nice clean air then for Bert to really push on this lap. And we'll see what the guys at the front do then. Fields spread out just a little bit, though we do have SA's trying to shape a move up on Weiberg and down towards turn 4. And he gets that move done.
Adam's just after falling out a bit of ground or 2 tenths.
He must have lost it just there, like turn 9, because he still had DRS heading down that straight, despite the fact that he was out of a second. He was a second behind Dan. Now that he's fallen out of that DRS range, I wonder maybe now might be the time to pit. As I know Merck's getting close to synchronizer there for 14, but we'll stick with this though, because this is important for the context of this race. And Adam does respond then. Adi Baba's going to try and carry on, but Tom Pritchie's going to pit as well. So Adi Baba confident he can maybe overcut these guys, and Tom Pritchie's coming in way too hot, and that is a 5-second penalty. You knew that was coming.
That's ruined this race up.
Yeah, so with the grid being so close, that's gonna be tough. And TNT's Latan is you get ahead of Tom Pritchie, then he does, so they're very close. Mark Demanda coming into the pits as well. Where's Bert then? Here comes Bert then across the start finish. He's ahead of Tom Pritchie, but he's still behind Adam. See if he can try and make up that place immediately though, as he gets the tyres up to temperature. He is close though, you're right. See what his run is out of turn 3. You'd imagine for Bert, like this first lap is going to be the best chance you'd imagine. And a bit of a snap at the back end, and Adam I think has, at least for the time being, immediately has survived. But big question then at the front here then. Adi Baba, he's gone for the overcut. See if it pays off. We'll go back on down though to this 3-car battle between Bert, seems he's Latan, and Tom Pritchie for what is basically going to be possibly a podium position when it's all said and done, as Adi Baba pits. Factor in then Wesker and Jono then when they come in for their stops, and they're on mediums.
Ball game then.
Yeah, they have to factor those guys in as well if they haven't lost too much time in this first phase of the race, trying to make up some positions. But here we go then, as Adam, Bert and Tom Pritchie all emerge down the start finish straight. Where is Adi Baba? He's just coming out of the pits now. He got to jump on all these? No, he hasn't. He's going to come out in between as Bert goes for the move down the inside on Adam, and Adi Baba rejoins, and he's just ahead of Tom Pritchie. Toro Rosso and Red Bull side by side still, and looks like Bert's got that move done. So big move for Bert then, getting ahead of Adam for P6.
That's really podium position.
Yeah, that is basically net second, I think, at the moment. SH is a bit further up the road.
Yeah.
But of course, you'd imagine again. I mean, he could. I mean, I'd be amazed if he didn't have to pit again. I'm working under the assumption he's going to have to pit again. So because of that, I think that is a net second then for Burt for the time being.
And Morris pits.
So Dan Morris had a bit of ground then. I'd imagine he's fairly safe in all this, but we'll see. We'll stick with the battle though for basically where Burt is downwards. Let's actually go more Adi Baba. He's got a lot of ERS in the tank, basically all of it. And Adam still within DRS. He's going to get a chance to get his place back there. To be fair, so opens the DRS, but Burt pulls over to the right hand side. But again, with Adam, he's going to be right there, and he's going to get that place back. And Dan Morris is right there as well. The overspeed from the Red Bull's going to take him ahead. Is easy sweep into turn one, and Adam then moves into the effective race lead.
Contact between Dan Morris and Burt. Adi Baba slips through.
More contact.
With the spinner.
Oh, it's collected Tom Pritchie as well. Has that damaged the wing?
I didn't see any wing flying off.
I didn't see either. I think he's actually okay somehow. I'd be amazed if he didn't have damage, but a bit of contact though. Definitely Burt. I didn't see the contact with Dan Morris though. You're going to have to tell me about that.
Just tap at the side. Or Burt. Tap at the front, and Burt was like trying to correct it with his wheel. He's behind him again.
So would you say the contact then put him into the clutches of Adi Baba then?
No. Yeah, he got a bad run out turn 3, I think. Going up the hill.
Yeah.
Sleeping right hander. Yeah. Got a bad run, and Adi Baba then straight down the inside. Yes.
Dan Morris has DRS on Adam. Going to try and take this position back. He's reeling in that Red Bull. Pulls over to the right hand side. He's going to get this done. Is he down the inside? Actually able to come back over, take that racing line, and he moves back into the lead of this race. So it's been a constant kind of to and fro with the DRS basically, and no one's really been able to clear a second, and as a result it's keeping the field quite tight, especially at the sharp end, because this is basically first to fifth, basically first, fourth, fifth. Yeah, it would be fourth.
Be interesting to see what Jono and Wesker and Weiberg come out. Well.
Yeah, they're quite tight. Still nothing to separate those two. Like, they've been on each other's DRS basically for so much of this race. Joined at the hip. So it'll be interesting to see which of them pits first. Again, Wesker's got the most to gain here from an undercut, so you'd imagine he'd be the one thinking about it. And it won't be long now either. It will not be long, as this has been a good lap for Dan Morris, to be fair. He's pulled out 8 tenths on Adam, and unless Adam gets one of his good runs out of the last turn, then he's going to be a little bit under pressure from Burt then. We'll see if anything changes. Dan Morris in overtake mode just to be safe. Adam getting close, but not close enough, but he is far enough ahead of Burt and Tom Pritchie then. I can hold on to that place for the time being. Someone into the pits. That's Focky then, who of course pitted very early on his mediums. Or was he on sol? What was he on? Yeah, he was on mediums. He had wing damage, I believe. So he's come in then for his second stop, and is on a set of hards. That will obviously run to the end of the race, but he's a long way off the points, and he's going to need a safety car to really kind of try and bring him back into contention. But so far, Joe, all 18 runners still going. I haven't seen many penalties pop up either, so it's been some good driving from Div 2 so far.
Only the
speeding penalty, right? So I expect that we'll see 1 or 2 crop up before the end. But we shall see. Any sign of the front 2 coming in? Yes, Jono's in, but Wesker's going to carry on. So Wesker's going to go for the undercut. It's an interesting choice from Wesker there too, because he obviously had he could obviously react to whatever Jono did, and he's decided that he's going to carry on as Weiberg then pits as well on his hards.
That's a 5-second stop goal.
So not great for him. And meanwhile, Burt is getting close to Adam, but again just isn't close enough to make that move. And I don't know who's got the best pace out of this bunch. I really don't. It's so tight.
He's Weber lost a few positions there as well.
So Jono then is out in 10th. He's a second behind Mark Demand. How far is he then behind that battle? He's only 5 seconds behind that battle. Jono here is going, and Jono and West are going to be factors then for this race. You'd imagine that they're going to have a lot of traffic to negotiate, but on mediums, there's a good chance they could. There's a good chance they could definitely get themselves in amongst this conversation here.
Oh, that's 100%. Mark gets first penalty, proper penalty.
Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse really for Merck, having had that spin earlier out of turn 10. As Wesker then, he does reply then, so Wesker's coming into the pits. Gets the car slowed down. We'll go back to this battle then. A little slow, about 35 miles. Could have gone a bit quicker, but obviously could rather take the cautious approach. And again, these guys, there's no sign of them getting by each other because they're all just, you know, it is a DRS train. They're not close enough getting out of that last corner to make that move then.
Sizing up a move as well.
Yeah, he's got that done as Wesker exits the pits. So nice progress there for Jono. Keeps that position ahead of Wesker, and then the same swoop takes P7 off of Mark Demand. And so he can carry on. He's got a nice bit of, he's got a bit of clear track then to this battle, and they're all pent up here, aren't they? So really, assuming Wesker can get by Mark Demand fairly quickly without damage, these two are going to be catching up to the back of this battle, and we're going to have a 6-car scrap basically for the win. Except for Tom Pretty, actually.
SH,
because SH is going to, again, I'd imagine, this is working under the assumption SH has to pit again. It's going to be tight. I don't know.
It is tough. You don't know who.
He's going to get. His tire's going to be 20 laps old, easily, by the time he makes it to the end. In many ways, it's actually, if you're SH, you're going to have to try and stick this out. As actually, Ali Baba's got a good run here on Tom Pretty. With DRS this time, he's going to get this move done. It's actually better for the context of this race, as Jono sets the fastest lap, that Ali Baba gets by this Mercedes, who isn't really in this fight anymore. Down the inside he goes, gets the move done. Kind of isn't really in this race anymore with the speeding penalty. Kind of taking him out of the equation.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I think we're better off this way with Adi Baba, then see if he can get close up to the back of Bert and see what they could do. Yeah, actually, the more I think about this, either SH pits basically this lap, or he's gonna try and hang it out to the end on those tires, and whatever happens, happens. It is risky. It definitely is, and that's the risk he took when he committed to the softs coming out of the pits when the rain came down. So I think actually, thinking about it, he's going to try and stay out, but he's got 8 seconds. Dan Morris's tyres are 5 laps younger. Is that enough to reel in 8 seconds, or does a puncture play a factor? Because SH is going to carry on, and obviously now, again, I'd be surprised unless he's going for softs. That's the only other option here as well. As Bert then, with the DRS, Adam is falling out of that DRS range of Dan Morris, and that's going to prove critical as Bert then goes down the inside on TMC's Zlatan. And again, it is a big lap for Bert to try and pull out enough of a gap, that 6, 7 tenths out of that last corner, to where you're safe heading down towards turn 1. Actually, Dan Morris took a lot of time out of SH that last lap.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Check the lap times there, if you can. That on that last lap.
SH did 22.1, and Dan did 21.4.
Yeah. I think that might have been more so driver error, because this is quite early for the, it's only lap 11 on these hards. The problem's not going to come now. It's going to come, lap 29 and lap 30. That kind of territory. So
a bit more lap space.
As Bert then has pulled out a decent gap. He won't be out of DRS range, but I think he's certainly in the clear. So that's Bert then into P3 then. And I suspect if that is to become P2, he's going to have to work for it. Again, unless the ultimate plan here for SH is to pit, but honestly, if he pits, 20 seconds, brings him back down towards, where Timo is, basically. And Merck.
Yeah, Timo Merck, yeah.
So, I can't imagine that's in the plan. So, the only logical guess now at this stage, now that he hasn't come in at this stage for mediums, is that he's going to try and limp it out on the soft, on these hards, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, Jono and Wesker are coming in now. Off now.
They are 1.6. And Wesker obviously joined to the hip of Jono, as he has for the entirety of this race, pretty much. So, yeah, I think 10k's out of sync. I think definitely. He's just parked apparently at one part of the track, so he's had to carry on.
14 to me.
Yeah, it's 30th on my screen and dropping. Wesker might be a good shot here to try and overtake Jono, and Jono's had to go defensive, isn't it? And these guys have been joined at the hip all race, and Wesker's going to duck to the outside. John's going to have the inside line still with the DRS and the overspeed. Wesker swoops through and gets that move done for P7, and now he could try and have a first crack then at these guys on the hard, starting with Tom Pretty. That's a big move. That's a big move in this race.
I think SH will be okay.
His pace is good.
Yeah.
I think it depends literally if he gets a puncture or not. I think Dan will close the gap. How can you check when he pitted? Actually,
SH.
Yeah, on his softs. He went like 9 laps, didn't he? Was it 10?
Oh. It's going to be touch and go, maybe, I think.
What lap did you say he pitted? Lap 10?
Yeah.
He did well to get those that far. And he had a decent little gap as well. He still ran around 4 and a bit seconds, as Wesker then goes quickest and is in the DRS of Tom Pretty now as well, but it's going to be a bit too far back to make the move this time. That fast lap I think definitely helped by the having DRS making the move on Jono that previous lap as well. But he's flying. And a nice little tasty battle here as Timo then swoops around the outside of Yaram, and Merck then right there as well. Yaram on a few laps older hards than Merck, and certainly older than Timo's, who 6 laps younger rather, I should say, than Yaram. So Yaram faced a bit of a squeeze then out of the points, and now under pressure then for P11. Of course, he was the other one that started on softs and hasn't gone according to the plan, as Wesker so close to Tom Pretty but can't get a move done into turn 10. This is bringing John a little bit closer then to the action than he'd want, but Wesker has to be careful just to navigate this last chicane here, these last few corners, without damaging his wing, and he can slip on by.
Good one.
Over to the DRS, pulled over to the right hand side. Tom Pretty doesn't really defend that either, and not much he can do in that spot with medium tyres and DRS. Wesker then continues his charge and moves up into P6 then. Next up for him is Adi Baba. Just basically less than a second up the road as Merkiar. Oh, his wing flying! I saw someone absolutely flying. Timo is round. Three is never going to fit into turn 1. I thought I saw some wing flying, and I believe it is the Racing Point wing. of Timo, who was fighting for a point in a good spot on fresher hearts than those around him, and now is now firmly out of contention. And that's a shame for him because he was running quite well. As Tom Prishy coming under pressure then from the second runner on the mediums, with Jono just a couple of tenths then. And surely this is going to become 8th place then for Tom Prishy, so it hasn't really, it's gone backwards really in this second phase of the race. Has Tom Prishy with that penalty then, and now obviously not much he can do really with these guys on mediums. And Alibaba close then. Have a bit of a scruffy run though out of that second to last turn. Got a bit bumpy on the curbs. And I think that is that enough to impede his progress though, as Adam pulls over to the right hand side, not got DRS though. And Alibaba is going to run out straight then this time, as Bert and Dan Morris still going side by side. This came up very quickly. Very quickly indeed. And Dan has to go defensive on Bert, who's going to try to go around the outside of turn 4. Wheel to wheel. Going to be side by side. Bert onto the gravel. Oh, did well to catch it. And Dan has held on to that position for the time being. But touch and go then between Bert and Dan. This is good stuff for P2, and Dan just has a little bit of respite for now. And Bert has to try and have another go down towards turn. But actually, look at the ERS, Joe. Dan has very little compared to Bert.
Bert's been saving through the first sector.
So Bert's been managing this race very well then. And will surely have a look to have another go then at some point in this race. The more they do this, Joe, that gap from SH has not budged. Has it really?
7-6, yeah, most of that.
So he's done a really good job, and Bert and Dan squabbling definitely doesn't help. So the race win shifting more and more towards SH, and if he does pull that off from softs, be a wonderful result.
Zlatan and Alibaba and Wesker is there as well, I suppose. Well, Wesker is also up a little bit.
Wesker's been Sway picks up a penalty there back in last. Wesker is kind of, his problem is that Alibaba got DRS, and that is kind of ruining things. But also ruining things is that Wesker starts getting that little bit older, and the peak of that tyre I think has come and gone. It's on the decline now anyways, I think anyway. But still should be able to get this. Oh, it's Alibaba then, you can see it running over the curb. And he picks up a 3-second penalty now as he tries to make a run at Adam, heading down towards turn 10. They're all very close. Will anyone go for the dive? Oh, Alibaba really early on the brakes. Wesker a bit later. And Wesker trying to force his way through and shows his assertion of that corner and moves up into P5 then. So opportunistic then from Wesker, gets the move done. And now could immediately try and get a run at P4. He's run then out of the last turn. Oh, it's going to be tight. I'm not sure if he's close enough to make a move on Adam. Again, Adam just gets a really good run out of that last turn as Jono and Tom Prishy then. Jono down the inside on the Mercedes into turn 1.
He took time penalty as well.
He did. And that actually won't affect him in the sense that Alibaba has one and so does Tom Prishy. So at the moment, that doesn't really change anything as Wesker then hustling and harrying the back of that Red Bull. And he's going to go for it. Down the inside. A little bit of contact, possibly, but Wesker gets through, though, clean enough in the end. And he moves up into 4th then. He's 3 seconds then behind Bert for a podium. What result this would be for Wesker if he could go from last to a podium. He's got 3 seconds then to try and make up as Bert kind of stuck behind Dan at the moment as we head on to lap 30 then with SH as he just rounds the final chicane. He'll begin lap 30 then. Can Wesker make up any more ground?
And it's live.
Maybe just check the penalties, Joe, or the warnings for maybe Wesker and Bert.
Ooh, it is. Oh, on.
What do you mean? Like,
Orc has 2-1, Wesker's 3-1.
probably a collision warning, I'd imagine, for Wesker then.
Yeah.
So one more then. That could be the difference between the podium and 4th place then. Either way, because you imagine Wesker should be able to make up a 10th or 2 to get under 3 seconds. As Jono very close to Adibaba now. This field has spread then. Basically, once Bert got by Adam, Bert's pace has been very, very good. And he's shown it, and he's again closing up to Dan Mars, but isn't quite close enough down towards turn 10. At least on this occasion, as Jono getting closer to Adibaba, and then obviously Adam just right in front of that as well. Merck somehow, Joe, has managed to sneak into the top 10. He does have penalties. Oh, look at Bert, he's right on the back of Dan. And he's going to have DRS this time as well. Surely then, he's got so much more ERS as well. He can leave that on overtake, and he swoops to the right hand side. Damos tried to cover it off, but can't do anything about it. He's got to try and hang around the outside. Bert covers it, and Bert then moves up into P2. As Jono and Adibaba then side by side heading towards turn 2 and turn 3. Jono on the inside, Adibaba on the right, or on the outside rather. Tries to hang around, and Tom Pretty right there as well. We'll stick with Tom as they head down towards turn 4, and Jono then takes that move, tries to cover the inside line heading down towards turn 5, and has done enough then to hold it, and that's Jono into P6 then. So he's carry on his progress. Meanwhile, Dan Morris hasn't really been dropped by Bert, and Bert needs a absolutely fire last sector to try and pull out a few more tenths.
Dan doesn't have much DRS either.
He will have the DRS though, and that's all he needs, is if he's around 4 or 5 tenths. I'm not sure if he's going to be close enough. Open to the DRS again. You can see he's not got a lot of ERS to try and fight with. Bert has, so Bert can leave it in overtake mode down that main straight, and looks like Bert's going to hold it. So Bert's managed this race absolutely brilliantly, and Dan has basically run out of ERS, and Bert has still got half of his left. Again, as Wesker and Adam got close actually there, and Adipapa's still close to Jono, but again with those mediums, they're getting a little bit older now. But just one more lap left after this to try and hold on. And Wesker has lost ground though, to be fair, on this battle. I think having DRS has helped then these two kind of still, just pull away a little bit. Wesker hasn't had that benefit of DRS since he overtook Adam. So, and still one warning could decide it, but Wesker's got to close that gap.
On SH.
His tyres don't look nice. They're 21 laps old. Better to be 22. He's come down a second or so, hasn't it, this lap? As SH rounds the final corner to start his final lap, and all that stands between him and the penalty, like a puncture, is the thing obviously he has to be careful for. Other than that, you'd imagine he has this race wrapped up. Bert, meanwhile, pulls over to the right hand side. Dan, again, he's saved some ERS, but it's not been enough to make a move into turn 1, and he picks up a penalty. He should be safe though, because Wesker is 4 seconds behind. Oh, just got made up a boatload, hasn't he? He's got 5. Oh, that gap's coming down quick. So I'm not sure. Wesker's absolutely flying then, it looks like. Keep an eye on SH though, just in case he gets a puncture. Some awful camera angles. He's absolutely bad. And Bert then picks up the penalty. So this battle for position is back on then. And if these two get tangled up, Wesker is in the prime position. He's just a few tenths off though to try and making that happen. As SH then, I know Tom Brady's right behind Alibaba as well, but let's look at SH, see if any last corner drama. He completely This has been an absolutely brilliant drive from SH to make that soft strategy work. He comes across the line, he wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Bert then looks like he's going to come across and finish second. Well, a fantastic drive from Bert then, the second part of the race. Finishes ahead of Dan in third, and Wesker again, he isn't close enough, and he's just 6/10 off a podium. Adam then comes home fifth, great result for him. John 06, Alibaba in seventh, Tom Pritchett then in eighth. Merck is actually going to finish in ninth on track, and then the penalties again mean he moves out. Mark DeMann and Yarm then picking up the pieces. 10k looks like he's finished in 12th by the looks of it, at least on my screen. Synchronizer 13, Chubbs 14th, and then come Weiberg, Focky, and then the racing points. Oh dear.
Yeah, they're terrible race.
Absolutely awful. I think Timo would have had a point, at least 2 points to be fair, but came in the collision with Yarm and Merck. Finishes 17th, and then Sway will round out the field at 18th. No DNFs, Joe. I'm very impressed.
No, Sway.
Everyone finished. No one quit. It's what you like to see from the Div 2
Yarhan
boys.
did 25 laps on.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
a beautiful crash.
Or hard.
Yeah, you clutched in from Yarm. And he gets a point for it in the end, which is more than I thought he would get from this race, to be honest, with that strategy. But in the end, the guy who did the same strategy as him, SH, has won the race. Again, I think that first stint was absolutely key. He did a really good job. A, extending his stint, and B, keeping the gap, to a good margin. And didn't have a lot of pressure in the end then, just had to, was able to manage it. I don't know how tense it was in terms of tyre wear, but from here it looked like a very, very comfortable win in the end. I think Dan Morris will be disappointed with that. I think he definitely had second place in his hands, and then came Burt, and then the penalties came then. But there you go. Wesker then in fourth. I mean, he'd be disappointed to miss out by 6 or so tenths. I'm sure it'd be a case of what could have been for Wesker had he set a time in qualifying. I think he does get driver of the day regardless. Adam finishes at fifth. That'll look pretty bad, coming from second down to fifth. But actually, I think he drove a very good race, to be fair. John 06, Adibaba 7th, Tom Pritchett 8th, Mark DeMann 9th, and Yarm. Again, it doesn't look great, he's lost a position from the grid, but I think he's done a great job as Yarm to actually finish in the points.
Yes, yeah.
Despite his strategy being completely just, starting from P9 on softs, that's pretty tough. So a lot of great drives out there, but I think definitely Wesker is deserving of driver of the day, and he'd be disappointed, I'm sure, even despite that, coming from the back, to finish in fourth, just 6/10 off a podium. Final thoughts then, Joe, on this race?
It was a good action-packed, sweaty race. What I really wanted, hard race last night, I guess. Saggy way. But in the end, fair play to the drivers on everyone finishing.
Yeah,
and
fair play.
Thanks a million. And you, Graham?
Yeah, that's it. That's Div 2, Spain. Thanks for watching. Next up is going to be Div 3 on Friday, which is always a good watch. Div 3 always surprises you. You can take that as you will. So, for good or for bad, you can decide. But anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time.